stocks, Taste Holdings has two investments in two main divisions: National Wholesale Jewelry and a food division trading as Scooters Pizza, Maxi, St Elmo's and Fish and Chips Co. Taste Holdings has a market cap of 519 million rand, a price to earnings ratio of 22 and a dividend yield of 1.5%. Now last week we spoke about National Wholesale Jewelers, didn't we?
Right.
Was it last week or the week before?
Exactly. Last week. But now we're talking
going
about
into
the food.
And of course I asked you food and jewelry, but you told me it's about the franchising element.
Yes. Look, they are nicely positioned. They just had a trading update out today, which propelled the share price up to 280 or something. Effectively, the food division is Scooters, which is a little yesterday's story, but then St Elmo's also in the pizza area. The big excitement there is the Fish and Chip Company. That's a low-end kind of taxi rank, basic large portion of chips with some fish or some other stuff. That's the one that Sipiwe Chabalala is the official ambassador, etc., etc. Now that's doing very well. The only problem there is that they're having a bit of a fight with the people that they bought that from. But notwithstanding that, they've taken operational control of the business and they're rolling it on, and that's going pretty well.
Taste Holdings, obviously the good news flow out today and the share price benefiting from that. Longer term, do you like the play?
Love it. This is very much a disruptive influence. This is a new kid on the block. And it wasn't until they added the Fish and Chip Company. I think a lot of people didn't quite take them seriously. They didn't quite understand that, as Paul said, we're talking about franchising being the main element. So
the Fish and Chips is the key differentiator. You've got to have Fish and Chips in the fold to be taken seriously.
To have something at the lower end of the market that's going to do as well as Fish and Chip. They have got a proud boast that they're going to double their earnings over the next 3 years. And with that trading update that came out today, I think they're well on track for that.
How long before we benefit? I mean, if you look at where we're trading, it's just off its all-time high. Yeah. Is that correct?
Look, it listed at 2007 and went high and then collapsed down to about 40 cents, as they all did. But to be fair to them, they've sort of beavered away, and the existing businesses and the Maxis and all that are also doing fine. Because we know, as I said earlier, this whole category is expanding and more people are eating out and more people have got disposable income now. So the sales have been quite strong. This latest thing was just a well-timed acquisition. And the reason that people are so excited about it is it's quite cheap to get a Fish and Chip Company franchise. So it opens up the market to many more participants, people that don't have millions. To open a higher-end Kentucky or a Nando's can get into these and move a little faster.
Quick update on their Africa aspirations.
Look, obviously they want to get into Africa as all of them. But again, as Paul said earlier with reference to another operator, it's going to take time. This is not going to happen overnight.
I like Carlo Gonzaga and his management team here, so I think they're going to continue to do well. The jewelry part of the business actually also kicks in solid profits. And they've also, kind of geared up and taken operational control of that, and the founder is...
They could diversify beyond, if they've got the franchising model right, then they could diversify beyond NWJ and their fast food franchises, wouldn't that...
That'd be perfect. So you could eat at the fast food place, get all greased up, then you could go next door to the salon where you could have your face cleaned, and then you could go and buy some jewelry. That'd be a natural
all-in-one solution, absolutely.
Look, the other thing they could do is they could offload the jewelry business to someone else. I mean, it's all up for grabs, and it's all dependent on.
Has that ever been tabled that they were perhaps diversify out of?
Not that I've heard of. As I say, they took an awful lot of criticism early on for buying it, because a lot of people said, well, you're not sticking to your knitting. But in fact, they've persevered, and as Paul says, that it actually produces some nice margins in there as well. So it's actually a good business.
There's no such term as diversify out of. You either diversify or you focus, don't you? So my apologies there. Anyway, hot or not on Taste Holdings?
Oh no, this is very hot.
Very hot.
Yes.
Hot or not?
Yeah. Look, it's quite frothy at that level. It's shot the lights out from where it was to where it is now. But
it's a new kid on the block. Don't forget what Chris
Okay,
said.
Let's go with hot as well. Chris, you convinced me.
That's a tough job. He never gets convinced. So well done. A feather in your cap, Mr. Gilmour.